requesting a device will go live on Monday. That option will be on our website for families to go through and request a device. Once you request a device, to validate that, you would need to have your email address, your phone number online with Infinite Campus, the parent portal. If you do not have that up to date, you can actually call 313-HELP to get that up to date, and they can work with you to update that information with the school. So it's really important you have that information up to date. Also, if you have difficulty completing the request, family does, any JCPS employee can take that request. So for instance, you call 313-HELP or the school, they can actually talk a family member through that, and all you have to do is authenticate and by logging in your JCPS credentials, meaning your email and password. So the request form goes in once you hit the request and you accept that the responsibility of borrowing a device from the school. Then that request goes to the school. And so again, we are encouraging schools and families that have a device or an internet already at home not to request an additional, because we want to make sure that we have available for students that do not have any. So then the requests are at the school, so you then either need a device such as an internet hotspot. The hotspots were delivered to the schools this past week. There were 20, in quantity of 25. Those should be stored centrally in a location there, secure location. And then once you see, based on how many you need, if it's fewer, then we will collect those at a later date. If it's more, then we'll get more out to the school. So as far as the devices that are on the prim on school, schools have been collecting them, those in a secure location. Then as the requests come in, you'll be able to assign the device to the student in advance. And so you would assign the device to students and get that recorded. So when the student comes to pick those up, you already have that ready, and just to be able to hand them the device. So the beauty of this is we have a new inventory system called ITAM. And so within ITAM, you're able to see your school's inventory. It's a centralized inventory where we can see it at a district level. Also, it discovers devices like your Chromebooks. And if, for instance, you have a device that is not in the inventory, you can actually physically manually enter those. So within that process, you'll be able to see who requested the device, which student, your inventory, and then assign that to the student. So the schools have already been working on who's helping with this and coming up with plans on who's helping to get the devices prepared. And also we'll be getting detailed information through the toolkit that Mr. Williams, Ms. Wills is going to share. As far as, I'm giving you a high-level overview, but they'll have resources available for the details on a lot of this. And then as far as families, so one of the things we heard back in the spring was, rather than a centralized distribution process, the schools know their students better than anyone. So the schools, to be able to connect with the families and be able to connect with the students, we decentralize this, if you will. So the coordination will be coordinated from each school. Will have their own unique, as far as pickups, how they want to do that, whether you want to add that on to something you already have scheduled, or maybe coordinated like a drive up they drive up and pick up the devices, and so some type of drive up orientation, whatever that would be. But again, that's unique to the schools. So once that request comes in on Monday and Tuesday, they're going to continue to come in. Then the schools would reach out and let the families know when and where to pick those up. So each school's location will be unique. The distribution process, again, make sure you're following the safety for safe pickup. Everybody needs to use the inventory management system to track those, to make sure we all have the insight on the devices that you actually have and availability. And then finally, as far as support, so I'll let William and Stefanie speak more to the support, but as far as the support with the hotspot, so if you have a hotspot, at the first level, there's a phone number to T-Mobile as far as connecting that hotspot. And then schools will provide also tier 1 support for Chromebooks. If something happens that, first they would reach out to our JCPS customer care site, and if it can't be repaired virtually, then there would be a process as far as switching those out, and they would bring those to the schools or drop those off and then trade it out, and then an IT person would actually repair those and get those back in action.
Now, I'm Stefanie Mills. I'm our project leader for IT3, which is Innovation, Integration, and Information. We have 3 different branches. Dr. Belcher's here, who's our CIO of all 3 branches. Dr. Lisa Revel is here with us, who is our Executive Director of Technology Integration. I think that's what it's called. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And William Pierce is here, who is our Specialist of Technology Integration on our integration team. So that's who's joining you here today. I just quickly, want to go over, I know we have a limited amount of time, and I know that all of our schools right now, the folks who are hearing this are probably a little overwhelmed. So what we're trying to do at this time is to try to create a toolkit, okay? And William and I have kind of taken point on this and trying to take pieces from everywhere. And what I'd like to do after seeing some of the comments is actually add a form for feedback on the site. So right now, if you'd like to, this site is live. It's jcps.me/device toolkit, all one word. jcps.me/device toolkit, all one word. I will post this to the STC Speak. I think this, Dr. Belcher has arranged for this to go out with Dr. Polio's communication on Sunday. And by then, hopefully it'll be even more beautiful for you. So if I'm coming to this page in schools, I know you're a little overwhelmed. We're going to try to help you get as much resources, front loaded as possible here. But getting prepared is where I would go first. This device distribution plan that Dr. Belcher just shared is at the top of every single screen so that you can quickly access that. But what we've also built in here is kind of a workflow. Like first, I'm going to get prepared. So here we have building your team. And you can click on each one of those and you can view those resources in a larger format. Asset scanning and management permissions. This is one I really want to hit with everybody who's on the show here today and watching. We need your help identifying folks at your school who will be the inputters of the data. So if you could go to, when you're on the site, go to getting prepared and go into asset scanning and management permissions, and then clicking this sheet, we need for you to go ahead and put 2 people's names there who you want for us to send the information to about ITAM, the system that Dr. Belcher just reviewed with everybody. ITAM will be that inventory management system. We'll overwhelm everyone and give everyone that information all at once, but we want to help you get there, and we're going to do that. We're going to follow up with whoever names you put on that sheet, okay? So feel free to jump in there and do that. Chromebook preparing for distribution. So one of the things that we need to do is go through our schools and actually just see what's viable. Things have been sitting there. Some of you may have already been doing this. That's awesome. So you really want to focus on is making sure that those devices get turned on, that the right adapter is with them, that any kind of like sticky notes with kids, usernames are peeled off of there, and that we actually go through a full power wash of that device. And you can get to those directions or instructions by clicking there on that document. It's just page 2 of that slide. But one other key point that I want to point out here is that we want a quick hardware check. If something's not right with that device, get a ticket into us as soon as possible so that we can get help out there to pick that up and fix that device so that it can be back in circulation ASAP. So please check out that preparing for distribution. Schools request from IT. Here's one that you're going to want to know about. When you're going through your school, and those of you who will be using ITAM, we're going to take you through looking at what's available in stock versus your requests. We will help you through that. We're here to support you. But first, when you're going through that plan and you've got these devices, you want to make sure that you're kind of keeping an inventory of what you send out for repair right now, so that you can compare that against your in-stock devices and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to need 20 more hotspots, and I'm probably going to need a few more Chromebooks. We want you to submit a ticket for that. I'm not going to read through all of these. There's a lot of content, but please do. And before the end of the day, I will put a feedback form up here so that we can make sure that you're telling us, hey guys, I think if you added this, that would be helpful, and we'll absolutely take that into consideration. So now I'm moving down to, you feel free to look through getting prepared and then device distribution. Again, the plan is at the top of the requesting a student device. So this is the page that you'll want to look at if you want to request a device for a student and help them, or help a family get to the place where they can do that. Remember, that will happen Monday morning at 9 a.m. So we're not there yet, but the information of how we're going to get them there is already on the site for you. Also, and thank you to William, he's our bills lead for the district. So he has 11 schools under his care for that program. And I guess I can't call it a program. Those schools. So for those 11 schools, William is our lead for that in the district. And he has some really great knowledge and background for this device distribution, because they've done this with several thousand devices away. And he's helped you out here by saying, here's some supportive materials. Here are some ways that you can maybe do these things. Again, I'm not going to read them to you. But please go through here, and the advantages of, pre-assigning those and having them ready to go. And then the advantage of just doing a live assignment. If you have any suggestions or you have any wins through this, we want to hear about them. So please let us know. Also, the Device Assistance Program End User Agreement and Terms and Conditions are here in a QR code format. Absolutely use that. We have some things up our sleeve as far as Chromebooks and being able to put those on startup tabs as well, so families are aware of what those agreements and terms and conditions are. But you can use these and utilize these at your schools. So instead of handing out paper or, paper transfer, you can simply have them scan a QR code. Or, you could print it out and hand that to a family. But we, is the least amount of touch possible is what we're going for here. Take you through the next part of the site, the repair and recovery. We haven't quite got to the recovery part, and we're still working, and you can see we're buzzing with ideas. We're going to fill this out by Monday. We're going to have some other resources up here for you about what to do during NTI 2.0. And we're working on that. But while you're going through your inventory at your school, kind of back to this, what you do during preparation. And it's pretty much just put a ticket in, and we're going to get there as soon as possible and help you to try to get those devices back into circulation so you can distribute those to your students. Links and resources. Here are some things that you might just want to know about our IT3 support site. We're doing a little bit of a facelift on that over the weekend as well, so we're excited about that. ECE assistive technology. That's one of our friends that kind of get they're kind of on an island a little bit. We want to make sure that you know how to access their site, and also there's a link there or a person that you can contact if you have a family in need of that equipment. And so their site is very resourceful. Also, our innovation team has helped to build out these other resources for teacher resource toolkit and the program plan. So those are also linked there. If we're missing any important links or resources, please let us know. But that's our school toolkit. Remember, it's jcps.me/device toolkit. That's how you can get there. We will make sure that this is communicated as far and wide as possible.